Looks like we have a few participants, so we'll go ahead and get started. My name's Melissa Felich. This is our part 2 of the Learning Management System. I am the certification manager here at GreenRope. So today we're going to go through a few things. The first thing that we're going to talk about is kind of a recap on our last webinar, which was what is the LMS, the Learning Management System. We'll talk about, again, a breakdown and case use examples, just kind of to refamiliarize ourselves with what it is and why it's a good tool, and some different examples of how to use it. But then we're going to dive into how to create courses, how to implement it into your own business. So the first steps are creating wiki pages, which we use as modules. The second step is creating surveys, which we use as tests. And the final step is putting it all together in the Learning Center inside your account. So what is the Learning Management System? With the Learning Management System, or LMS as we call it, you can design a digital learning courses used to share content related to your business, certify customers, or to simply educate team members and others about your business. So in the examples that we're going to use today will be similar to those that we used in the last LMS webinar, which is all about dog training. So that's kind of a universal and generic example. So the breakdown is courses, then modules, chapters, and tests. So the course allows you, the LMS allows you to create subject-specific courses for students to go through and track their progress in the CRM. So the course is basically, if you think about it as, you know, English 101, English 201. So you can have as many different courses as you want. And inside each course, you can have as many different modules. And inside each module, you can have as many different chapters as you'd like. And at the end of each module, there's a test based on the chapters that you've created. So the modules are broken up, or courses are broken up into modules. Each modules contain chapters, and these chapters are made up of wiki articles that will build within your account. And we're going to actually go through and build one so you can see exactly how that works. And then tests. At the end of each module, students will take a test confirming that they have successfully learned the material. Tests are made up of surveys built also within your account. So we're going to do that also. We'll build a survey with a variety of questions, and then we'll attach them to the LMS along with the wiki files. So I have quite a few examples already built in, and we'll kind of just continue on that example. So use case example, educational courses. This is what I use it for, a certification program with GreenRope, which I'll also introduce you to at the end. Excuse me, the training material, you can create an entire educational course that contains multiple modules and chapters. You can also trigger workflows after completion of a module and also after completing a test. So you can trigger modules based on specific test answers. And that's also, you can do that whenever creating a survey unrelated to the LMS. So we'll get into that also. Testing is trackable. You can have proctor approval. You can do answer scoring, which is great because if you want to make sure that they score a specific number, you know, of correct answers at the end before moving on to the next module, you can do that. And then certification, you can create and send a personalized certificate to graduates, and you can do that inside your account using the Easy Builder, or if you use it outside or create it outside the system, you can then simply enter a URL, and we will, of course, get into that here in a second also. So let me exit out of that before we, we're not quite to questions yet. We're going to go over here to, this is my test account where we've created some examples, and this is Chip Smith. He has a dog training business where he is now going to create a certification to allow his clients and students to become certified. So the first step that we're going to do is create a wiki article, and that is your chapter. So when you're creating an LMS, you kind of have to think about it as you need to get all the ingredients before you can bake your cake, essentially. So we're going to create the articles and the tests and then put them all together in the Learning Center. So to create a wiki is super easy. And this tutorial that we're going through right now will be available after this webinar, so everybody can go through it on their own time, and it will walk you through the same exact process. So the first thing we want to do is decide who can contribute to this wiki article. And when you're creating an LMS for testing, you want to make sure that it's just the account owner and shared access users. Not everybody in your contact group can contribute to this. Then you want to decide who will have access. And again, for testing purposes, you want to make these topics all public. And then the hierarchy, it's really, really important when creating these courses that you stay super organized. So you're going to see a lot of repetitive words, that term being puppy training, throughout this example. So I've already created the main topic, which is Chip's obedience course, puppy training. So we're now going to create a subtopic of that. And I've already done, if I move over here, you can see I've already done PT module 1 and 2. So PT puppy training. I'm going to keep it super simple, because if you make it complicated in here and don't use those kind of same terms, excuse me, you'll get lost. When you're trying to put it all together, it won't make any sense at the end. So basically, you need to lay out all your puzzle pieces before you can put it together. So here we're going to do, and then here we'll use this area to create our article. So this is maybe the intro. Well, and here on this first page of your module 3, you'll talk about what students can look forward to in this particular module. And this can all be created here. It's just like the editor on the email editor, the email easy builder. You'll see the same editor throughout the system. It's very easy to use. You can add images, you can add links, video, pretty much anything to really format it to be exactly how you want it to look. And then we save it. So now we have our first, or in this case, third module and chapter created. We're going to close this. Now here, before I move on, I want to let you guys know, in case you haven't seen it already, since it was just launched recently, is that before you could only be in GreenRope in one tab on your browser. And this made it, at least for me, I want to be able to read the content when I'm creating the test. So now I can be in it in multiple tabs. So I can keep this going on over here, so I can know what this content says before I move on to my survey. So now I can go back and forth between the content in my article, my wiki article, and the survey as I'm creating it. So then, just to make sure that the questions I'm asking are relevant to the content I posted, and that I'm also not getting lost. So this is a really great new feature that was just launched this past week that has been life-changing for me. And when you're creating your courses, you will see that you're going to want to be able to navigate around the different pages at the same time without losing any of your content. So now we're going to create the text. And the first thing that we want to do is, again, stay super organized. So with survey questions, you can create folders first. And what I recommend doing is creating a folder for each module. And then inside that folder, we'll create the questions that go at the end of that module for the test. So then that way, when we're putting it all together, it's all very, very easy to do. So here we'll do puppy training module 3. Save. And then now I can create the questions all related to the module 3 content. Here is my trick. I do puppy training module 3 question 1. Make it really easy to to know what the code is, because the survey code is what you're going to see throughout the system when you're using the survey. And the easier you make it for yourself, I promise you, you won't get lost, because it is a multiple step process. So, you know, make that puzzle really easy to put together in the end. So module 3, question 2, module 3, question 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Also add 3 because I skipped that one. And just make it really easy for yourself. And then here, we already made that folder. So I'm going to just put it right into module 3. Now it's super organized. Yes, I want to score the answers at the end. This allows you to make sure that your students are learning the information in your content. So if you don't put that, then they can just continue to move on and get certified whether they know the information or not. So if they don't meet a certain scoring criteria, they're sent back at the beginning of the module so that they can retake that information. So I feel like when you're creating any kind of course for students, having a scored testing system is really important. That way, you know, as the teacher, as the proctor, that they're getting the information that you're providing. So the default on this is always yes, but you can absolutely change it to no if you need to. Sometimes no is good if you're using a text-only kind of answer, because everybody's answer is going to be different. But if you want to make sure that they add information, adding a score is good too. And then choose which kind of question you want to create. So whether it's checkbox or text or multiple choice. I did skip over the summary to respondents question, because in an LMS, if you opt to say yes to this show results summary to respondents, you're essentially showing your students the answer. So I really recommend that you just keep that at no. That's a great one, though, when you're creating a survey to send to your contacts outside of a testing system. And then the same exact editor that you saw previously on the Wiki article that you'll see again on the editor. So it's the same process. We're going to create our question. So this was about dog obedience. So, you know, basic commands we can ask. Based on, you know, a question based on content that we entered into the Wiki article. So then down here now we can do multiple choice, since that's what we took, and we can give a variety of answers. So, you know, fill in the blank for how to get a puppy to sit. And here's where you'll answer, you'll put your scores. I use 1 and 0, 0 meaning incorrect, 1 meaning correct. But you can use anything that you want based on your own scoring system. And then you can also create workflows that then activate based on the particular answer. So if you want them to go into a particular drip campaign that you've created based on answering A to question 24, you can do that. It's really, this survey tool is really great, both for the LMS and just for sending surveys to your contacts. So we're going to create this. Here, you can go back in and change any kind of content that you wanted to that you didn't, maybe you forgot to put in a folder, you can do that. You can also choose a system-generated or custom user field to push respondent survey answers to. Again, this is good for normal surveys and for testing in courses, because if you want to get information from your contacts when they're taking these tests or surveys, you can do that. So if you need to, what city do you live in? That information can be automatically pushed into the CRM so that that's updated inside your account. So you'll have that information forever. So that's a really great tool. And then down here, you can choose whether the survey respondent who answers the question is added to a specific group. So the contact should already be in the group associated with the course that you're creating. If you want them to be added to a list of or group outside of the course based on answers to a particular question, you can do that here. So if they say, you know, do you have a dog, and it's no, then maybe they don't want to be in the puppy training course. Maybe they want to be in a cat lovers course instead. And then you can also assign workflows to all survey respondents. So no matter what their answer is, if you want them to be on a drip campaign based on these answers, you can do that. Or based on their completion of these survey, you can do that. So we're going to save this. Close. So then the next step, sorry about that. My tutorial has ended for some reason. But the next step is to create the survey to put those questions in. So we've already created the questions and we've created the article content, but now we need to put those survey questions into an actual survey. So we would go to create a new survey, module 3, save. And then here is where we can create our actual survey. This is the test that they will see the questions inside of. So you can add a header, the same exact editor that we've seen throughout already. When you get here to the questions, you're going to simply click on the folder that we had over here already. So now we can see that we have this module 3, question 1. And we simply click that plus button, it adds. If you have more than one, you can change it around. You can make these required questions. Whatever order they're in here is the order that the test will be taken in, that those questions will be listed. Some more design, you can add and change your submit survey button and add a footer. These are great for all surveys and for test taking. And then upon completion, you have quite a few different choices. You can create a custom message to your users using the editor that you're now very familiar with. Or if you've created a thank you message or you're on to the next module message, you can enter that URL here if you have a custom HTML file, or you can also use the email editor and Easy Builder editor to create thank you messages, save them. They get saved inside your media library, and that URL can be copy and pasted here. And then this scoring action is a really cool feature also. So based on the scoring that you had provided or assigned in the previous step when you created the question, you can now define a custom message for those. So if somebody scored, between 0 and 25 points, you can send a custom message, 25 to 50, a custom message, and so on and so forth. So it's just a really great way to customize the test and the end of the test to the user that is taking it. You're going to save the survey. And then to stay organized, I want to move this. I'm going to just double click it. You'll see it highlights when it's ready. And I put it into this course 1. Let's say I have multiple courses, so we can see that I have module 1, 2, and 3 in here. So now I have all the pieces. I have the articles that I've written that are chapters. I have the questions and the surveys all created. Now I need to put them together. So I'm going to go to the learning page. And here is where you will create a new course. When you're ready and you have all your pieces, you'll name your course. You will add a proctor. That's the person that will be monitoring everything. You can later, if you elect to have proctor approval, that will be the person that that's sent to. Here, you will design your course description and your instructor notes. So I have an example already kind of pre-built. So let's go to that one first. So once you have all of that basic stuff done, this is what it will look like. And when you add your modules, this is at a glance. When you go back in later to edit it or to just kind of review it, you can see who's completing modules, who needs approval. So if we want to create a module, we will just add module. You'll see I already did module 3 up there on Xsuite. So we'll just save 4. And put your title, put your description, what to look forward to, any notes that you want for your instructors. And then this is where you're going to now add your wiki articles, also known as chapters. So, and it's so easy. Once you get to this point, everything, if you've put your puzzle out correctly, everything else will be really easy. So here it is. We're just going to copy and highlight, or drag and drop, excuse me, into, and you can create as many different chapters as you want, or delete them, move them around. Your complete module text, that's the link that they will click on to take the test. So click here to complete the module is the default. You can say whatever you would like that link to say. And then we created that folder. One, module 3, that's the survey. So now all of those questions that we created in module 3 survey are now associated and attached to this module 3 content and little package. So module 3 is its own entity with the wiki articles that we created and the survey question and survey that we had created, all kind of making sense and going together. This passing score is also where the multiple tabs come into play. If you have multiple questions, and sometimes, you know, you can edit multiple modules at the same time, so you might get a little lost. I can't remember what the passing score for module 3 is. I can jump over to this other tab and say, oh, okay, it's, you know, go into the survey page and say, okay, the passing score is 7. Yes, I want proctor approval. I recommend putting this at the end, whatever your last module is. Otherwise, your students might be waiting quite a bit of time between modules, especially if they're shorter. If they're really, really long, if you have 12 chapters in a module and you want them to get, you know, proctoral approval before moving on, that makes a lot of sense. In our case, with the certification program, we have 4 main courses, and at the end of each course is when proctor approval is needed. So they can go through all of the 9+ modules without any kind of delay, tested each module, and then at the end, I go in, I'm able to review everything, approve them, and send them the next course. So that's just an example of how we use it. And also the custom congratulations at the end of whatever courses or course you're creating, that's going to be your big hooray, congratulations, you've completed everything. And then, of course, we use this action tool to save our content and to preview our course. And you can go through this. Of course, the content in here is pretty bleak because it's mostly just titles. But when you go through this in the preview, it's the exact same as if you were the student. They see exactly what you see here. So you can skip around, you can go right through it. And then here's that, click here to complete module, but again, that's customizable. And this goes straight to the survey that we've created. So let me show you, I have a passing grade on this. If they don't hit that passing grade, then it instructs them to go back, study it again, and retake the test. And then I have it set up so that when I finish it with the correct answer, let's see if it's going to do it. It'll go to a certification. So then you can customize this. You can wait for proctor approval and then send a certification. So there's a lot of different choices that you can really customize it to make it your own. And then when you're ready, you simply invite students to take your courses. Enter their email address, name, subject. You can customize this editor that you're now a super professional at using, just based on if you've only used the LMS and never sent an email, you are now a professional at this editor. And send, and that's it. Then you receive email. The proctor receives emails whenever anybody completes any modules and when they are waiting proctor approval. And so you can really interact with them and monitor what's going on inside your certification or your training modules. So now I'll go back to any questions. If anybody has any questions. Can you invite multiple students together? So yes, you can. So when you can even create and send it as a blast or a broadcast. When you are creating an email, there is a placeholder. So if you use the merge function on the editor, there is a placeholder for your courses. So it's course 1, course 2 in that placeholder. So just use the merge button, find the course, add it, and it will automatically generate the link for each contact. Can we get first and second webinar tapes? Yeah, I believe we have those available on our website. We can probably send them out again. This is the second. The first one we did last month or 2 months ago. Are you also going to cover certification program? So yes, we are. So we have a certification program that is available. It is right here on our website under services, certification program. And you can register and go through. It's 4 courses. It's very awesome. It's filled with a lot of information and tutorials that walk you through a lot of different features, from implementation to marketing to operations and sales, all of those different suites that we use within the system. And we'll have that link available. I can put it in the chat for everybody. I was checking your YouTube channel, and most videos are old versions. Is there any new material that we can learn? Yes, we actually use Venmo now, so a lot of updated videos are found there. Also on our website, on our blog, we have a lot of those contents there. You can also find them on our Facebook page. So whenever new videos and content is released, we always try to post those on our social media platforms, which are Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn are kind of our 3 big ones. We also have a Pinterest. The Venmo is for all of our videos. And we are also working on getting them all on YouTube as well. Thank you, Alessandra. Were there any other questions? And here's the link to our certification program. Oops, add that. So if there's any more questions, how can we become certified? So certified with GreenRope is by going through this course. There is a fee to do so, but once you are certified, you become a GreenRope certified consultant, so you can assist other customers. You can really, you'll know the system inside and out in case you want to become a VAR and resell the system yourself, or just a consultant to help support clients that are using it. The cost right now is $1,000, but of course we do have a sponsorship program, and that's for all 4 courses, and we are working on a mastery course as well. So it is self-paced, absolutely. So it's at your own, whenever is a good time for you. Each course takes about 10 hours to complete with all the content and exercises and tests. So it's important that you kind of schedule out at least a little bit of time, once a week, once a day, to just kind of go through it. But it's absolutely at your own pace. I can see where you're going. If you have any questions or you run into problems or you just aren't understanding a particular area, I am here to help with that. Well, Rosa, we can absolutely contact you and I if you want. We could talk about different sponsorship options that we have available. Oh, and it looks like, I'm sorry, we are offering it at 50% off until the end of the year for holidays. So that drops it down significantly. $500 for all 4 courses is a steal. And then the program that we used to make the certification is the exact same one that you find inside your account. So the LMS, the learning module, or the learning management system. So you can then, and it is also part of the certification. We go into it not only here in this webinar that you can rewatch later, but also in the certification. So you'll really have a great concept of how to use it and how to implement it for your own business, whether it's training, whether it's you're selling some kind of course to your students, whether you're using it for new employees, or like in this case of getting certified to become a puppy trainer. And yes, it's 50% off right now. How long will it take? We do say about 10 hours per course, and there's 4 courses. And that includes reading through all the content, going through all the exercises, and taking the tests. Are there any other questions? Absolutely. My email address is just mfelich@greenrope.com, or you can reach me at support@greenrope.com also. And I can also, Rosa, I'll reach out to you right after this, and we can move forward with you going through the certification program if you're interested. I can send you more information on that along with costs. And if anybody has any questions about our certification or how to use the LMS to create courses and modules for your own business, I am absolutely here and available to help anybody that needs it. So if there's no more questions, thank you so much for going through this. I know that it seems like a lot, but once you go through and create the surveys and articles, putting it all together is really easy. And I cannot stress enough how important it is to stay organized. And the best way to do that is to have those repetitive titles, whether it's in your articles, in your surveys, or in the actual learning center itself, that you use those same terms so that when you put it together, it's all really, really simple. Thank you, Rosa. Awesome. Well, thank you, everybody, for attending. Have a great afternoon. And again, my name is Melissa Felich, support@greenrope.com. If you have any questions, now or down the road, I am absolutely here to help whenever you need it.